Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome to the second special edition of Danc News. I'm your head anchor, Daniel Brenzel, and alongside me, as always, my co-anchor, Amir Mohovic.
Good to be with you, Daniel. And tonight, we'll be discussing the Mexican Revolution, and specifically the political causes behind it.
That's right, Amir. The Mexican Revolution was long and confusing, so let's get into it. Joining us now from the heart of Mexico, Mexico City, our senior field analyst, Nick Turner.
Thanks, Dan. As you can see, I'm here in the heart of Mexico, and let me tell you, I can feel the wind of change. One cause of the revolution is how unevenly distributed the wealth in Mexico was. Land, a principal source of wealth, remained in the hands of the few. Foreigners owned around 20% of the land, while less than 10% of the native people owned any land. Also, private estates reached extraordinary proportions. The fact that the majority of Mexicans worked in agriculture made the inequality of land distribution all the more unjust. The opposed workers' struggle towards labor justice was only met with violence.
Wow, Nick, that wind of change looks very powerful.
Sure does, my friend. Well, that was just one of the many causes of this long and complicated revolution. Now, we'll take it over to our revolution specialist, the wisest of them all, Cameron Wise.
What do you have for us, Cam?
Oh, hey, Dan. I'm down here in Mexico, eating some chips and queso, looking at the causes of the Mexican Revolution. So by 1910, Porfirio Diaz and the New Creoles had ruled for 34 years without a popular mandate. They ruled Mexico for the benefit of privileged native elites and foreign investors, not the Mexican people. As early as 1900, intense criticism of the president was launched by the brothers Enrique and Ricardo Flores Magón in their weekly newspaper, Regenciero, Mexican word. The brothers were jailed in 1901 for criticisms of the government. Porfirio Diaz made sure that he was unopposed by appointing local political bosses who controlled elections, stopped political opposition, and kept public order. Back to you, Dan.
Thanks, Wise Cam. Diaz sounds like one crazy ruler. I guess that's why the revolution occurred.
That's true, Amir. In fact, when 1910 came around, Diaz announced he would not be running for president again, to many people's surprise. This was one perfect door for Francisco Madero, one of the most influential and wealthy men in Mexico, to make a run for the presidency.
Yes, Francisco Madero openly criticized Diaz and his policies and began to gain popularity in the Mexican community. And that was when Diaz conveniently decided he actually would run again in 1910. What a terrible guy.
Ha, what a Diaz move. In fact, Diaz decided the night before the election that he would throw Francisco Madero in jail because of Madero's political newspaper, the El Democrata, in which he openly called Diaz a dictator.
Some guts he has.
Most definitely, my friend.
Next, Madero bailed out of jail and escaped to Texas. In the U.S., Madero was extremely popular in a country that hated the ruler Diaz.
And with his new sense of popularity, Madero decided he would spark a revolution.
Rebel armies started to rise up all over Mexico, and Madero decided that he would return to Mexico and lead an unsuccessful attack on the military garrish. The effort gained the respect of the rebels, and he was recognized as the leader of the revolution. The armies continued to push away Diaz. Then finally, on November 6, 1911, Madero was elected president over Mexico.
Yes, and that sums up the political causes of the Mexican Revolution.
We hope you enjoyed this second special edition of Danc News.
Have a good night. News. I'm your head anchor, Daniel Brenzel, and alongside me, as always, my co-anchor, Amir.
You should have.
Wow.
What'd you say? Turn that off, Cameron.
Hey, man, Cameron, are you recording?